So what about this third one? Because we said we were going to do you a 3 and then a bonus. I love this, Yemisi. Thank you. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I love that.
Exactly.
I've used that in some of my moments. And my husband and I used to have a thing because, you know, we went through a period in our lives where we were working full time. We were going after advanced degrees, and we were raising 3 young people. We lived in one city. He drove to one city in the morning. I drove to another to work.
Okay.
And we drove to yet another city to go to university, and we raised 3 kids. So
Wow.
this was the striving years of my life where I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. From 2 to 6 a.m. I would study for my MBA program. Then I would, you know, get the kids ready and keep moving.
Wow.
So come up with what works for you. My husband and I would do a chest bump. We would bump each other's chest when we get ready to go off and take on the world, like a
Really?
you know. So that whatever symbol, come up with things. Be comfortable with being unique. Be comfortable with being the unicorn. Be comfortable with having your way of getting out what God has seeded in you. So many people, you know, oh, let me try to be like everybody else. So don't try to fit in. It's okay to fit out. You know, I'm not saying break laws. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of fitting out and being able to bring your own cultural your unique spice to things. That's how we would do our chest bump. And I think some friends saw us do it. They're like, oh, that's cool. And all of a sudden it became cool. But for us, it was just a way to motivate and trigger that cue in us. Is time to go get business done. All right. This third one, it links very well because it's about what? Controlling the controllables.
Controllables, yes, sure.
Take responsibility for your life. Don't be a victim, be a player. So when you're in this space, what does this really mean? I love the diagram we've used before, where you have in the center, what are the things that I can control? What are the things I can only influence? And what are those things I can neither control nor influence, right? So COVID being an issue is something that you can't necessarily control.
Definitely.
But you can control is your own behaviors, your own thought patterns, your own feelings, and your actions. So one of the things that people often get twisted, right? And I use the example of the ball. I don't think I can use my daughter's expensive thing, but let's just say here, this example. What's happening with the ball?
Gravity.
What's happening with the ball? Is the ball dropping, or
it's dropping
the ball, or is it gravity, right? Those are like our 3 choices. Those are choices. Now, the person who says the ball dropped because of gravity, is he right?
Yeah.
She or he is right. The ball did drop because of gravity. But it actually really dropped because I released it.
Yes, sure.
What's the illustration there? When I say that gravity, let's say it dropped and fell, and I blame it on gravity. Blaming both of all of those are truths, but choosing the truth that gives you no ownership removes you from having the ability to affect change. So when something happens, it's important for you to choose a truth that you can manipulate and do something about. So taking ownership for the fact that I'm the one that dropped the ball. So what did I learn from what I did this time, and how can I do it differently? So when you say that gravity did it, that's like the devil made me do it, right? That you had no role in it. So when you abscond and remove yourself from the equation, you become what? Are you powerful or are you powerless? Are you a victor or are you a victim? If you always blame it on gravity, you're gonna always be the victim because it's happening to me. But if you in fact choose the truth where you can affect the outcome, you are choosing to be the victor. You are playing to win, not to lose. So remember that when you take responsibility for your life and control the controllables. I know we have some control the controllable stories, some experience, especially in COVID. It looks like you may be muted, Tinu, but I think that when we're looking at control and controllables. Can anybody relate to that? Have you ever had a choice to make, but you chose the one that you had no responsibility or accountability for, that you chose the one where you could blame it on the traffic, blame it on somebody else, blame it on something outside of you? Have you ever been in that situation, Tina?
I've actually been in that situation, and I will travel back to my background. So really, I like that point, that controlling the controllables, right? So, and that speaks to you taking charge, full charge of your life. I could remember that I have a very, very humble background. And my dad, at some point in time, when he lost his job, so as to be able to make ends meet for the family, he actually turned himself into a driver for a friend he was really sponsoring at some point in time. And that was how
Wow,
bad
that's
it
a role reversal. Big role reversal.
definitely real one. So we actually had to struggle out of school and all that. But the most important thing is the fact that we were given the privilege to finish school, and that was a great one. So when I finished school, I decided to be I decided to be in control of what happens next. And thank God for the kind of husband that I also have. So we are pretty open to growth. And then by the time I decided to start growing myself, I told myself that I would do it in such a way that nobody will see me and link me to my background. And that is what is happening right now. You don't see me and link me to my background. I really don't have a control over my background, over the past, but I have a control over what happens in the future. And that then tells me that if I really want to bet the future that I desire, I need to start taking active steps right now, because the present defines the future. And then I started taking steps. So, but the only thing is that I'm the hero of my own story, because I can tell the story to inspire someone else. I tell the story because I'm the hero of my story. I can tell people about my past, but they don't see the past on me. And one other thing I do is this. I tell some
I like that. Don't see the past on me.
You don't see the past on me unless I tell you the story. So I also tell some people that, see, you could have been abused before in life. You know, some people experience rape and all that. But I'm trying to tell you that you don't get stuck in your experience. You have the opportunity to be in control of what happens now and in the future. So don't get stuck. If Joyce Meyer was stuck in our own experience because our rape experience was worse off, if she was stuck in her own experience, she wouldn't be blessing the thousands of lives she's impacting today. But because she decided to take control of her life, she couldn't control her experience, she couldn't control her past. But Joyce Meyer was able to control her future and her present. So she took control. And that is why we say that control the controllable. The past cannot be controlled. The kind of parent that gave birth to you cannot be controlled. So many things you don't have influence on. Focus on what you have influence on, and then take charge and move further. So that is the story I have to back this particular point. And it is a very valid one. Let's not dwell in our experiences, in our negative experiences. We can bring out something positive from it.
I love that. I love that. It's often inside a pain or inside a problem. When you begin to dig is when you find possibility. It's also when you find power. Because one self-talk that I have to use when I'm going through difficulty is, Patrenia, you're just building the muscle for that next thing you need to do. No one can do your push-ups for you. If you don't climb this mountain, you won't have the strength to climb the bigger one. So have that kind of self-talk that'll make you keep on getting up. We are very open to questions. If you have challenges, if this is an area where it's like, maybe you didn't come from, you know, I had the benefit of my mother promising me purpose in my life, but everybody didn't have that. Even when I had my challenges, I could still hear her way back in the back of my head. I could hear the positive stories that she told me about myself. But everybody didn't have that. even with that, I went way down. You think about my teenage years, I was a minister's daughter, and you know, all the things are true about PK because I lived a double life. I was this teenager, confused, sad, in the loss, and just making bad mistakes, bad decisions, until a day when I just figured out that where I came from was not going to define me. The people that I was hanging out with, I began to see, these folks are prison bound. These folks they're not going to college like me. They're not going to university like me. Why am I letting myself be drugged down? It's because I didn't value myself enough. So when you apply the mirror in order to find the hero, you must have self-value. You must, if you don't value it, you won't invest in it. I was teaching a client a couple months ago that human people are not resources. People are assets. So assets are invested in, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You invest in an asset, whereas what? Resources are commodities that are used up. So that's really the difference. And we'll round up. We wanted to give you two bonus tips you can use, right, on this growth activation journey.
Sure.
This one was even when you're feeling your lowest, even when maybe you're doubting what you have in you. And maybe I'll tell my story. In the middle of the pandemic, I'm here in North Carolina and I'm sitting here helpless, seeing the scoreboard every day of how many people died, how many this, how many that. I'm saying, what can I do? And I heard, I was driving, you had to do those runs to the grocery store and come right back. And I noticed at the neighborhood school, they were giving out free lunches from 11 to 1. And I was taking a walk to kind of clear my head one day, and I walked through there and they said, yes, we need volunteers. So guess what I did? The next day, I put on my mask and all the protective equipment.
Wow.
And each day from 11 to 1, I was on the assembly line packing food, giving it out to families. You had people that came every day, Tenu, 7 bags in a house. We were feeding whole families. We were feeding not just the kids, but whole families every day. Every day, we're talking and we're fellowshipping. And on Fridays, we would have a big truck that would come with huge casseroles. So they would have enough for the weekend, but it would be a big dinner, not just breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What's my point? Find a way to add value to others. Make that the thing that you're focusing on. Even when you enter into a conversation and you begin to meet people, how can I add value to them? What might I do that would lift them? I love Dorothy I. Height talks about lift as we climb, right? Washington talks about if you want to go higher, then give value to others and it adds value to you. So what begins to happen, and we've talked a little bit about being magnetic. That's a vibration. That's a vibration that you begin to give off. That when you're willing to give of yourself to lift others, something about you makes you not a taker, you're a giver. And as you give, every time I've given as a volunteer, every time I've given, just spotting a look in someone's face and just stopping and saying, hey, what's going on? There's always reciprocity. It may not happen today or tomorrow, it may not come back directly from the person who received, but that's the circle of life. That's power. So your bonus is add value to others. It's always a win-win. Last one to you, Tenu.
Okay, so what I'm going to share as a bonus is celebrate small victories. Celebrate small victories. And that is the heart of gratitude. That is the heart of gratitude. You must always celebrate your victories. So, and we mentioned earlier that you shouldn't compare yourself with others. It is very important that you look at your own situation and appreciate your own process. For instance, if you have someone who has been gymming for a long time, and then you decided to start yours now, if you're looking at the person's progress, you could get frustrated because looking at your progress, comparing it to the other person's progress, you could get frustrated and at some point you could quit. But if you could look at the effort you're putting in and then measuring the outcome, maybe day to day and all that, gauging your own process. You could be motivated. And that is why we would always advise that celebrate your small wins. I actually binge on Netflix. See, all my life is not serious, serious, serious. I binge on Netflix. So anytime I have a small victory, I binge on Netflix for like 2 days. Like, yes, you did well. Watch movies and enjoy yourself. I popcorn and I'm fine. So it is like a reward. So you could set or design whatever works for you. It could be celebrations with family. It could be you buying yourself something, but for me, it is pretty economical. And I only binge on Netflix because I love to watch movies. But because of my busy schedule, I hardly do that. So anytime I achieve something good, anytime I do something so great at work, or I set up a coaching, what's it called, event, and I do it real well, I celebrate myself. Even when the participation is low or high, I binge on Netflix. So it's my own way of actually celebrating small wins. Small wins is very important. And because the small wins will give you the energy to achieve the big wins. It will make you get stuck to the growth process and never quit.
Love it. I love it. And guess what? There's a big piece that happens when you show gratitude for what God has already given you. Then somehow he makes more show up for you to be grateful for.
Sure.
So the most powerful way of creating an abundant spirit, an abundant energy, an abundant vibration in your life is by showing gratitude for what you already have.
Definitely.
It's okay to have longings and it's okay to have discontent. But in the space of all of that, bring your gratitude, because your longings will draw you toward the direction that, that quest perhaps in your life. And your quest may be, I listed some of these down because as women, here are some of our things, right? My quest may be just to be 1000% present with my children at home. My quest or my reason might be just to love an unlovable person. My quest may be to forgive the ex so that I can make space for the next.
That's true.
My quest might be to release whatever has been burning me. I connected with a cousin today, and what we were talking about is, where do you put all the pain? Sometimes we're receiving. How do we release it? And what she shared with me is that she's always been crafty, and that when she was going through a very low part of her life, she was advised to put her energy somewhere else. She was focusing on a sick child and she needed to, so what she began to do, one of her crafts is putting ironing, with the iron where the steam that comes out and it transfers the design. And she's selling these things, making tons of money now. But it's like when she pushes the steam on that iron, it's like she was releasing her pain and releasing. So this is an example where you can turn pain to power. And for her, she's turned it to profit. So find a way to release these things, this quest that's happening. Once you begin to rise above all those obstacles and rise above the uncertainty, what begins to happen is, one, like my cousin, she's profitable. Next one is being magnetic, because other people will begin to be attracted and say, well, so what are you doing differently, right? Unapologetically, stop giving permission to feel a certain way. Move in an unafraid way, being conscious of your superhero-ness inside of you. And I love this, and I borrowed this from one of my faves, Lisa Nichols, where she says, if people at this point have a problem with your light, if your light is shining too bright, guess what you need to do?
Get them Google.
Exactly. Tell them to put on sunglasses, because you have dimmed your light for way too long.
Definitely.
In your story, it's like, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Bring the light above the table and let it shine. If other people can't deal with the light, just tell them to put on sunglasses. I am tired of diminishing myself, of not finding my hero. Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? Give me something. Yeah, can you relate? Give me a hand raise or something on your thing, because so many people have always, thank you, sought permission to talk about their accomplishment, even in interviews, right? I love when this thing about toot your own horn. It's time to toot your own horn. Build those skills of being able to, all the things that are going on. What's good in this? Remember when I had to dig through, yes, I was fat. Yes, I was dark. Yes, I was this. Yes, I was that. All those things. But I do all of that and I look for my diamond. What are my diamonds? What are the things that make me shine? And a lot of it was around skills that I had. They weren't cool at the time, but by me doing it, they became cool. Tino, have you ever been doing anything that people like at the time didn't recognize, but then once you had, you know, rose above, it was like you were overnight success, right?
Well, that happens. That happens. It actually happens from time to time. Anyways, in different fields and all. There's something. Sorry, but I'm not apologetic. Anyways, so there's a particular parable that I want to relate what you just said to, and that is the parable of the talent. You know, so many people actually criticize the servant who decided to bury his talent because he felt what he had was not enough. So he was focusing on what he didn't have. He wasn't focusing on what he had. And many of us right now, we criticize the servant, but many of us are actually playing that same character. And I ask this question from time to time, that what character are you in the parable of the talent? Are you that servant? Yes. What character are you in the parable of talent? Because many of us, what we have, we really do not value what we have. We're actually looking at others. And because we're looking at others, we do not see value in what we had. We bury what we have. And that is the problem. And then confidently, we can stand to be criticizing that servant in the parable of the talent, whereas we are playing the same role in life today. You understand what I'm trying to say? So then you were focusing on your beauty, you were focusing on different things, but you actually did not see those other values that you had. And immediately you started focusing on them, your beauty, because I really can't link your face to an ugly person any longer. I really can't believe that you were once ugly. But I can share a personal experience. I grew up in the family of 6, 1 boy, 5 girls. And whenever visitors come to the house, they look at me and say, they look at all my siblings. Everyone was very pretty, looked like my mom. And when they look at them, people would say, wow, you guys are so beautiful in this family. The next person comes out, wow, this your younger sister is so fine. Then when I come out, they'll say, she looks like your dad. She looks like a man. So nobody told me I was ugly, but the expression on their faces told me that I was different.
Different, yes.
Yes, the expression.
I can relate. I look just like my dad. I look like my dad, and my sister looked just like my mom, who was beautiful. And it was like they had big almond eyes. But I decided these cheekbones, yes, I got them from my dad. And hey, this is what I have. So figure out how to optimize what you have. And work from the inside out.
Work from the
inside out. After a while, it doesn't matter so much. So what is it?
Your transform.
Your glow. If you work it from the inside out, it's amazing. You just become magnetic. So I say, do you, boo?
Yes, do you. Do you. There's power in our originality.
Exactly. We'll do a quick recap, because what we promised you was growth in action. And we've got 1 minute remaining. So we promised you 3 plus 2 as a bonus, yes?
Yes.
Have we delivered? Can anybody tell me what the first one is? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, practice 1-word strategy, right?
Yes.
The 1-word strategy, Tinu. Tinu's 1 word is?
Solution.
My 1 word is mojo. Or joy. Yes, all right. It should be what you stand for, your values. Okay.
Definitely.
Two is, here's the hint. The force field is, Tenu, tell him.
Yes, what did you say?
What is number two?
Well, our number two is guard your self-talk.
Yes, remember that force field. You only let in three things, right? What are
Yes.
those that you let in?
Edify, empower, and enable.
Yes. Only let in the three E's. Everything else, that force field is going to block out because we're guarding our self-talk. Number three is?
Control the controllables.
Control the controllables. That's right. Be a victor, not a victim. And the bonus, add values to others. It's always a win-win.
But it's a win-win, sure. And the second is celebrate small wins, small victories.
Gratitude is rolling in. So we come to you weekly. We have a live on 1 week, and then the next week we're doing a replay. Tenu has my guest for today. She really inspired me with the growth activation as a kind of title. And then I put my spin on it and said, hey, this is a lunch hour in some parts of the world. It's a rush hour in other parts.
Rush hour in Nigeria.
Make it a growth hour.
A growth hour for everyone.
That's right.
So Patrenia, could you please let our participants tell us what they've learned today or what they're going to do differently? Ashok started with us. Ashok, do you have something to say? What did you learn? What has worked for you?
Okay, like you rightly said, I love the part where you said growth is sexy. That we really need to work on. You know, you don't have to make it cumbersome for yourself, but you really have to know that, okay, after getting married is not the highest achievement you can get. Like most people do. You need to make sure you will really work on yourself also. And you know, I like the part where we have the what's it called, those I can't remember how to put them now, where we have the parts where you have to enable yourself and all.
Edify, empower, and enable.
Yeah, and enable, you know, yes. So another part I loved was where you have to really swing into action anytime you have anything to do. Don't just don't wait to maybe for other people's opinion about it. You know, like you rightly said, Patrenia, right? You said you were not bothered about what people feel about your look. That you actually made it an interesting thing for yourself. So don't let anybody, I love the part where you don't have to let anybody's opinion about you count. You don't have to let their opinion about you count, but you have to really, once you love, there's one thing I love about myself, and I've been really working on it. Once you love yourself, people will love you. Once you like what you're wearing, you know,
once you love yourself, people will love you.
People will love you, yeah. Once you like what you're wearing, people would love it. I've noticed that about myself, so I'm riding 100% on it. I'm riding 100%
That's
on
great.
it. Once yours is just to love yourself. Once you love yourself, whatever any other person says doesn't count. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I think that's about all. I really enjoyed the class. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do we have any other contribution or question or action plan from any other participant?
Okay, what I learned. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Susan.
Yes.
Oh,
She's one of our diamond lifers.
You know, I like the part where you say we should not dwell in negative experiences. That's control the controllable. We should dwell more in the future and the present.
Definitely.
And also celebrate more victories. You know, let's not look at we should just don't look at others, just look at what you have, the victories that you have, and then you celebrate it, no matter how small. Make it the small wins and all that. Yeah. So that's one part I really like.
Susan,
That's great.
Susan,
Thank you very much.
Susan, I want to challenge you. At the end of the day today, I want you to just observe, become aware of, write down 3 victories today. What were 3 wins?
Okay.
3 wins.
Yeah. Okay.
I did that with my husband yesterday, and it was amazing how we were smiling. Yes, there were some things we didn't get done, but those 3 wins that we did get done, I wrote in my book, W-I-N, check, 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 check. And it was like this adrenaline rush. And it made me excited about planning tomorrow because it's like, I'm looking for wins. I'm not looking for blockers. I'm looking for wins.
Wow. 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 That's great.
Thank you, Susan. Ed,
Thank you very much. Do we have another person?
Tina, thank you.
I think Eno themselves, Edward, would like to say something.
Okay, we've got some coming in from Facebook. Let me share. All right. Whoa.
Okay.
Lost it. Ah. Let me see. Oh, we got a lot of comments in here. Oh, this is exciting.
Really?
Oh, celebrating reward.
Hi, Tino, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I don't know what time it is.
Good evening.
This is Kemi. I
Over there, sure.
I joined quite late, but from the feedbacks that I got from everyone, I think the summary, what I can summarize from the last person that spoke is, I think we should just learn to run our race and praise every progress. So it's not about winning winning the mighty, not the mighty wins anyway. Just run your race, be focused on your race, and praise every progress, no matter how small it is.
Praise every progress.
Praise it. Yes.
We've got some coming in for Facebook. I'm going to just share a couple of those.
Thanks a lot.
Celebrate and reward yourself. Are we okay? I just want to share because you know what? The more recency and frequency is a lot of power in it. And I'll share one that my stepmother taught me. She said, let other people run their mouths. You focus on running your business. Because people are always going to have to say, right?
Sure.
Okay, hero. What's your hero story? This hero story says, what I'm taking away is celebrate and reward yourself. Number 2, take responsibility for your life. Do what works for you. Don't dwell on your past experience. Value yourself. Like the chest bump strategy. Yes.
Bump strategy. Oh, God.
Oh, yes. My husband played rugby. And I thank God for my husband, too. He's someone who, he gets me. He gets me. And if you don't have someone who
gets you,
work on helping them to get you.
Yes.
If you need help or coaching, both Tinu and I are coaches. And one of the things we have in common is our background with John Maxwell as certified coaches, but it's so much more to us. The power, I always say, Tinu has his magnetism, and I guess we've just been drawn to each other on different projects. And you're setting up a program, and you're like trying something new. You turn around, there's Tinu there to support you. You look around. Hopefully, you feel me in support as well. And
yes, sure.
To dance together.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Thank you very much. The one thing is this. Like one of the participants said, maybe it was Ashoge or Kemi that said it, that once you love yourself, people will definitely love you. So I also say that when you add value to others, people would naturally gravitate towards you. So I gravitated towards you. We only met when we're celebrating Elevate Africa. We're organizing Elevate Africa. And some way, somehow, there was just this magnetic force. And since then, we've been working together. And that is how people with abundance mindset, that is how we connect at different points in time. You are not having a scarcity mindset. I try to, as much as possible, to create around me, enabling environment for growth. So you don't have around you people that are really envious of you, trying to pull you down, because I'm very strategic about putting those people who would always push me, encourage me, inspire me. I'm very strategic about creating that kind of environment for myself. It is deliberate. So when I see those who have abundance mindsets, I actually draw them into my corner. So it is not accidental. Connecting with you is actually strategic and it's intentional.
Man, for that. Likewise, I was like, what does Tinu think? You know, how many times have I called you? I was thinking about this. What do you think?
Yes.
You know, so creating that trusting space, and maybe that'll be our last one, is the way to become a hero in your own story is seek to be a hero in somebody else's story. On Facebook, I think I've gotten all the questions off of there. Are there any new questions on Facebook? Just let me know.
No, just Missy Peters. Just acknowledging some of the things you said, saying celebrate and reward yourself, take responsibility for your life.
Yes.
What works for you, don't dwell on your past experience, value yourself. Then she says chest bomb strategy. Just basically a quick recap of everything she's learned.
Okay, I also saw something. She said that my one word is fun. How one word strategy is fun. I create fun around everything regardless of how bad it is. And somebody, Caroline Misik says, love it. Oluwakemi Badejo says, hi, okay. Empower, that's Yemisi Peters and several. So we really appreciate everyone for joining us today. And this has been an amazing time.
Yes.
Patrenia, I have the floor to round up.
As we close out, we will be replaying, but if you feel that this is something that has blessed you, please let us know, and even better, tell others. Thank you very much. We're signing off today for Lunch Hour, Rush Hour, Growth Hour. Thank you very much. Our guest, Tinu Phillips.
Thank you very much for having me.
Give her some snaps.
Okay, so the
dropping diamonds.
Okay, so what I want to tell everyone that I want you to go home with is that to be the hero of your life, you have to be in control. Understand that you have all that it takes to change the narrative of your life, of your story. So when we talk about story, we are talking about your own life. You know, we have movies, we have written script. So also is our life. And the only difference is that her life is not, there is no dress rehearsal in life. There is no dress rehearsal.
This is it.
Then you are living in real time, and whatever you put in play today, you repeat tomorrow. So you have to stand as your own hero, rescue yourself. Self-pity is the most destructive non-pharmaceutical narcotics that I know. It is addictive, and it also gives you momentary pleasure, but it separates you, the victim, from reality. So use the law of the mirror, tell yourself the truth. Don't wait for anybody to come to rescue. Today, you rescue yourself by being the hero of your life. So that is all I have for everyone.
Signing off. That was an awesome word. To your growth.
Thank you to everyone's growth. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great day.